Hi, this is Frank. Today is January 2022. Happy New Year. And for the drawing today, I'll pick the calligraphy tool. It's just a basic tool to draw lines. And I think I'll draw like a zombie. So the first thing I want to do is just draw the face. And I'll start with the eye, and there's a little bit of lag from when I draw to the line, so I'll just go slow. But with the second eye, because it's at a 3/4 point of view, I'll draw it a little shorter than the other eye. As you can see, they're not the same width. And then I'll just draw a line going up like that. And I do like to have zombies without a nose to show they're really decayed. But for this one, let me just draw this little crevice here for the nose and just connect it right there. And then with the eyes, I like to have them have either bags under them or sunken in. And as a person gets older, the eyes around, well, the area around the eyes tends to sink in more, versus when a person's younger, that whole area is less sunken in. It's not sunken in at all, actually. So then as I get to the teeth, I'll just start to now I don't want to draw every individual tooth, so I'm just going to draw the basics of the teeth in the mouth. And this zombie has probably lost its skin, so I'm just going to have, yeah, the lag is really distracting here. It's because I'm recording and drawing at the same time. When I don't record and draw at the same time, it's not bad at all. It's more accurate to my real line. But because I'm using a calligraphy pen, it smooths out the lines a little bit more. So right now that looks not what I'm going for. I'm going to erase that. And then I'll erase that too. And then I'll erase that. So what I'll do is just have like jaws, teeth, just like basic, nothing fancy or anything. That's the great thing about drawing cartoons. You can just not have to worry about reality. And that's why I love cartooning, because you're so much more free to move on to the next idea. Meanwhile, someone who's drawing a realistic pictures might spend a week on that one picture. So with the cartoon, you could crank out about 10 different pictures in the same week of what it would have normally taken a very realistic drawing. So then with the ear, I'll just have like a little sliver there because the ear is gone. And then for, let's see, I think I'll just seal these teeth in and just go like that. I did want to mention one of the fans of City of Rott, who posted on the City of Rott YouTube website that I created, Sloppy Hyena. They mentioned if I could draw a cartoon zombie. So this one, I'm definitely was inspired by that person to create this drawing. So that's why I'm here doing this right now. I am working on a film project, so this is something I could just add to the film itself. But this is just a basic zombie, and it's challenging with this program, so that's one of the things I should probably try with a different program. Krita is pretty good for freely drawing and the lines being more accurate to what's on screen. But that does have some slowdown too. So with the jaw, I'll just extend it out here and then push the jaw up there. But yes, I believe her name was Nikita, so I hope you hang in there, Nikita, and start to feel better, hopefully. Sorry to hear the situation. But getting back to the drawing here, I have to create like a little piece here underneath the gums to show like some extra volume for the character. So it's just add like a little crest above that area, and then for the nose, this part would have like a little crest down there too, and then the eyes, I could probably just darken them and leave them hollow. For the forehead, I usually like to create a vein of some kind, and because I might reverse the character, have it face a different way, I usually just keep it symmetrical rather than asymmetrical, where if he turns his head the opposite way, you'd see that whatever was in one spot might not be in the other spot. Sort of like Fred's pocket protector. In his pocket, he's got like a little pen protector or whatever you want to call that thing. So what I do here is just click on that, and then the eyes, click on them, and then that will fill those in, and then the nose too. And then it leaves like a little seam around it, so I'll just smooth that out. Like it leaves a little line around it. And that's because it didn't reach the very edge, because the line is not perfectly bitmapped. It has a little smooth edge to it, so when you have a smooth edge, it won't fill in all the way. But as you can see, this is taking a little bit longer than normal because the lines are moving so slowly. So that goes there, and just fill these out. It's probably not necessary once you get enough contrast and duplicate this layer and all that. So let me just move on from here, and then I'll just fill that in there too. Alright, so this is looking pretty decent, kind of like what I'm going for. And then I'll just have this part here extend down a little bit, and then like that, and then have like a little piece there or something. I'm just making this up as I go. I did have a sort of a vision for what I was going for originally, and then here I usually just have like a little ledge right there, like an indentation there, and then you could have some of these round bumps on the head there. And you see I put them over here too, so when the zombie looks to the right, these bumps will line up. So that's about it with the majority of this zombie. What I could do now is just give the lines maybe a little more finesse, and just throw a couple more of these bumps on there, and then I'll add them here too. Alright, but that's kind of what I'm going for. And then you could do something like that right there. And then what I could do is just smooth out those lines, but it's probably not going to be too necessary. Like I could just give them a little more style rather than just end on a sharp, a blunt edge. Just smooth out the edge a little and give it a little more style. Like if I was drawing freehand with a regular pen, that would happen automatically. Well, not automatically. I'd have to go over the line too. In other words, unless you're using a calligraphy pen, you have to work on the lines to give them more style. Alright, so that's pretty much it. And next thing I'll do is layer, duplicate. Oh man, you know what I did wrong? Alright, so I don't even have to duplicate it. Delete that layer. I didn't select the right thing. I forgot to create a separate layer. Alright, so this piece should go here, and that should select the outside there. But for some reason it's not doing that. Oh, there it goes. So what I'll do is, now that that outside's selected, I'll go select invert, and now I'll do edit, copy, paste to new layer. What that did was it selected, reverse the selection to this, and then now it should go to new layer. There it is. So now I could delete that, and there it is. Alright, so now that I have that, I'll just duplicate it. Might not make a difference, but... And next thing I could do is just actually duplicate that and then paint this in really quick. So the first thing I'll do is select a color. Now zombie, I think I'll make this one a little more green. and then I'll just paint it all in. And then for the teeth, make those a little more yellowish. So then I'll just go right here and actually go right there. And then just hit each tooth at one time. So I have what I want. There it is. So then, next thing I have to do is select the zombie like that, and now I can color shading inside. But before I do that, I'm going to pull up a texture that I created, and I'll overlay it on this. So I'm going to pause it and pull that up and then get that over there. Okay, so now I have my texture brought in, and what I'll do is overlap it over the zombie, and you can see how much detail this texture is going to bring instantly without having to draw all those individual details again. Now, I originally drew this texture and created it, but this is so much easier to do it this way. Or you could take a photograph of a texture and then give it your own style when you import it into the computer by giving it paints and different textures and filters and stuff like that. So now that I have that overlapped, what I want to do is select the zombie again right here. Now this layer here I'll pick, and now I could either copy paste, or I could just go select invert, and that'll select the outside and then just cut that and keep the inside. That way works pretty good. And then select none, and then what I'll do is just merge down to that layer there. Actually, before I do that, let me just cut out these holes in the eyes, and just this way it'll have more darkness, like that. And you can see I'm only working on the layer that overlaps, so I could kind of go out of the lines a little bit like that, and it's not going to be a big deal because I'm not actually erasing the zombie. Alright, so that worked out pretty good. That's exactly what I was going for here. Now now I can merge down, and now I could reselect it, and now I could add the textures, really not the textures, the shading pretty quickly. So I just start at the top and then just go down here, and I think, okay, where's the light? And the light's on the left side. So what I want to do is just have the light hit the left side, and that creates a shadow on the right side. Like his nose, there would be like a little bridge there. Now the circle's too big, so I'm going to reduce that. And here's where I could cave in the eye a little bit and have like a darkness around the eye. And this is a little puffy looking, but I'll just darken it over there to where I want. So there's the eye right there, and then there's the mouth, and Then the ear, I'll darken that a little bit. And you can see it's really filling out pretty well here for the shading, and the textures really bring out a lot. Just so much faster to do it that way. It saves me a ton of time. And then this is so much easier, and it's actually a little yeah, it's definitely easier. That's the key word. So these teeth will be in shadow because they're curving around. They're not flat front with the character, so I'll just have them in shadow for that part. And then I have to decide, is that enough for the shadows? Is that everything I wanted? And then just give it a little more highlight, and then just reduce the shadow a little bit so I can get into these finer areas like that. And then for these curves, you just go like that really quick. Nothing fancy or anything. And then just go like that. Usually if you see a line, I usually try to put some sort of shadow to indicate that there's volume to it, versus a line just by itself. It'd be like, well, what's creating that shadow for that line to be there? So usually a shadow is what creates an edge. For like a flat surface, if you see a line, then usually there would be a shadow to indicate that there was a height to it, so it's not just flat with the rest of the character or that plane. Alright, so that's getting close to where I want it. Next thing I could do is just add some color to it, and I'll just duplicate this. I'll go into color, colorize, and now let's see, I'm trying to think. I think maybe like a reddish color, and then darken it almost like a blood effect. And now I'll go with my eraser, and let's see, I could just go in really broadly and just, this is probably going to be not too precise, but I don't know, maybe something like this. I know what I could do, just cut down the opacity of that so I have a little more control. There we go. So this zombie will have a little bit of red on him around his mouth and stuff like that. Usually I'll just select the part for the blood, but in this case maybe I'll just do this for now. So that gives them a little more color. But rather than go with a blood color, let me see what other color might work. Maybe like a blue. And then just desaturate it. Yeah, I like that. And then I'll add the blood separately. So I'll just go back in with these teeth because I don't really want them to be blue. I want them to kind of like still look like teeth. There we go. And now I'll create a blood layer. I'll merge that down to that. This way it's just one layer. And now I can select this. Actually, before I do that, No, that's fine. I'll just select this, and now I'll create the blood effect. So when the zombie bites into somebody, it creates a blood splatter all around the zombie. And then I'll separate the jaw and have the jaw work individually. And there's a way to do that. But now that I have this layer, I want to make sure that the teeth aren't all fully red, so I just create like a little section so the teeth aren't fully blood covered. This way you can still see some of the teeth. Alright, and then I'll just create maybe a couple dots here, like a little splatter. This doesn't have to be precise or anything. And then maybe something like that. Oh, that got messed up. Alright, so now I'll do a edit, copy, edit, paste to new layer. And now you're going to have a separate blood layer, so I'll colorize that. And we'll just go with the red and darken it. Like that. Yeah, I think right about there. And there you go, you got a little bit of blood on the zombie. And now I have to remember the most important part is the contrast. So do I like that level of contrast or that? Or that? I like that right there. But before I do that, let me go in with my dodge tool. This is really incredibly helpful, the dodge tool. And then I'll just highlight the edges where I think light is really hitting full force. And then I'll just highlight this. It's a little imprecise, but I think that's where the light would hit, right on the center of the brow of the zombie. This is a pretty neat looking zombie. I think I'll definitely add it to my film for sure. This new horror film, action horror film I'm creating. And put that there. Add some. Actually, I can't go above the blood layer because it's part of the foreground above the zombie. So see that right there? Would light hit that spot as bright as that? Probably not. So let me lighten that up a little bit. Yeah, that's fine right there. Alright, so you could also go in with the regular brush and just go 100% and just get like little highlights right there on those bumps. Like that. And that. Oh, and on the teeth too, I think. Because the teeth have like a shine to them. So they'll have a little highlight right there. And then there's a couple bumps down here I could add. Maybe over here. You wouldn't get as much reflection here, but I'll just add it in there just for the heck of it. Alright, and finally, let me get back to this dodge tool. Go to 100%. And let's try to fill in these spots here a little better. Just think of the reflective light and how that would hit the edge of the zombie in a little bit subtle way. Alright, so let me just get a big splotch of brightness over here, and maybe right here, and that'll give that vein a little more strength. I don't want to go here because that's where the shadow is, and here I want to avoid because I want that in shadow. Here I'll hit it a little bit more, but that's about it. And next thing I'll do is just go back to that contrast, like that maybe, and then like that, and then the blood, I do want a little contrast on this as well. I just need to clean this up. There's a little squared off right there. And then I do want a little bit of highlights on the blood too, not just all red. Although it can work with all red, I like to add a little bit of variety to it. And then I'll go in with my brush and just add like little dots, little specks of light. But you have to be very sparing with the little dots, because too many, it'll look a little weird. But that's pretty much it for what I'm going for here. I think that's good right there. Alright, so now that I have that, and I'll just create a couple small, less powerful spots like that, and that'll even it out a little. Alright, so now I have the zombie completed. I like that. Let me just get the contrast for the blood, brightness, contrast, and just do that. Yeah, that looks cool. Alright, so now I'll just do an image, auto crop, and there it is. There's the zombie. I could zoom in to get a closer look at it, or I could just go like that. And thank you for watching, and feel free to comment, subscribe, like, and share, and I'll have more news on the new movie I'm working on sometime this year. And as far as City of Rott Otherworld, I'll have some hopeful news on that as well. I don't have any news now, but hopefully soon. Thanks for your patience and being a fan of my cartoons. But thanks for watching. Have a good 2022. Bye.